Today, we're talking about something that I think is going to make you go, oh, well, that's what's been happening. And if you're in perimenopause or even just suspecting that you might be, this one is for you. I'm going to be talking about something that you don't hear about on the interwebs, but it's actually pretty pivotal to my approach, helping women to shift stubborn weight when nothing else has worked. Welcome back to the Thriving Metabolism podcast, where bro nutrition is banned and everything that we talk about is not only going to help you to lose weight consistently, but also optimize your health so that you feel your best, and all of that without fad diets or demanding workout routines. So to kick us off, I'm going to start with the story. Imagine buying a house. And it looks fine from the outside, right? Cute frontage, nice windows, decent neighborhood, the kind of place that you can see yourself hosting dinner parties in, maybe doing a bit of gardening on the weekends. And you're excited, you've got plans. So you move in straight away and you start decorating. New sofa, new rug, fresh paint on the walls, maybe some of those trendy cushions that serve absolutely no functional purpose, but look pretty good on Instagram. And for a while, it feels better. It feels like progress, like you're making it yours. But then the doors start sticking. The floors slope just enough that you're starting to wonder if you're drunk. Cracks appear in the places that you filled in just last month. You start noticing the windows don't close properly. There's a draft that you can't quite locate. And why is this happening? Because no one told you that the foundations were shot. And you can fill the cracks all you like. It doesn't fix the foundations and they'll keep coming back. This is exactly what's happening with so many women in perimenopause. And no, before you spiral, it's not because you're doing anything stupid or you're not trying hard enough. It's because you're doing sensible things, but in the wrong order. And that changes everything. So let's dig into that. It makes total sense that you think I'm perimenopausal, so I need to support my hormones. Of course, that's, the road that you're going to go down. That's the story that we see everywhere, right? You hit your late 30s, early 40s, sleep goes wonky, you're waking up at 3 a.m. for no apparent reason, staring at the ceiling and mentally writing your to-do list for a meeting that you've got in 3 weeks' time. The weight sticks around like an uninvited house guest who's overstayed their welcome. Your mood shifts. You go from fine to furious in just 4 seconds flat. And you're not entirely sure why your partner's breathing suddenly seems so loud, like some sort of torture. Your energy dips. You're tired in a way that sleep just doesn't fix. And it's that bone deep, I could nap standing up kind of tired. So you do the textbook things. You eat more protein, you balance your plate like you're auditioning for a nutrition textbook. You cut back on alcohol, you walk more, you try to manage stress, which is kind of funny when you think about it because managing stress is now just another thing on the to-do list. And it lands right between reply to emails and figure out what's for dinner. Maybe you add in seed cycling. You've got your little jars of flax and pumpkin seed for the first half of your cycle, and then sesame and sunflower seeds for the second. Or maybe you start strength training because someone on the internet said that women over 40 need to be doing deadlifts and it's a non-negotiable. And you find yourself in your garage at 6 o'clock in the morning, wondering why you're there lifting weights. You might even go down the HRT route, which is absolutely brilliant for some women, by the way, genuinely life-changing for some. And, these are all sensible, all logical, all evidence-based things. And yet it still feels like your body didn't get the memo. Like you're doing everything right, but the results just aren't landing the way that they're supposed to. And so it's understandable that you're thinking, what am I missing? Or why is everyone else's plan working accept mine? What is wrong with me? So listen close for a second, because nothing is wrong with you. And this isn't like when you go to the doctors and get told that your blood tests are normal and you just need to eat a bit less. No, what I mean is that your metabolism isn't broken and your hormones are not a lost cause. There is nothing wrong with the way that your body is behaving. Your body is simply responding to the signals that it's getting. And that's because even though the things that you're trying may make sense, you're doing things in the wrong order. The problem isn't that you're not doing enough to support your hormones. It's that you might be trying to fix the roof before you've checked the foundations. And I know that might sound like one of those annoyingly vague wellness metaphors that make you want to throw your phone across the room, but do stick with me because this one does actually make some sense. So, look, I want to clear something up to start with. Hormones are not the boss. They are not the ones in the driver's seat. They are just the messengers. They respond to the environment that they are operating in. So think of hormones like the lighting in a house. If the wiring is faulty, the lights will flicker. And, you can change the bulbs all you like. You can buy the fancy dimmable ones if you want. The flickering doesn't stop because the problem isn't the bulbs, it's the wiring. And blood sugar, digestion, nutrient availability, stress load, sleep quality, this is the wiring. This is your wiring. And hormones respond to that. So when someone says, I'm doing all the right things for my hormones, but nothing is shifting, my first thought isn't, well, we need to put in more hormone support. It's actually, what's happening underneath that is making hormone balance hard to sustain? Because the thing is, your body isn't being difficult. It's actually just being really smart and logical. If the foundations aren't stable, your body is going to prioritize survival over optimization every single time. And that looks like holding on to weight, disrupted sleep, flattened energy, spiked cravings, because it's trying to keep you safe in an environment that it perceives as unstable. So let me give you a real world example. I worked with a woman, let's call her Annie, who came to me absolutely exhausted. She was doing everything right: high protein breakfast, balanced meals, strength training 3 times a week. She'd cut out alcohol. She was taking magnesium, vitamin D, omega-3s, and she'd even started HRT. Some days she felt better. Other days she just felt off. But when she zoomed out and she looked back over the past year, she'd felt consistently worse, more tired, more wired. Sleep was terrible. Her weight wasn't shifting. So we looked at the foundations, and it turns out she wasn't eating enough, not even close. She was so focused on eating clean and balanced that she'd accidentally underfueled herself for several months. Her blood sugar was all over the place because she was going too long between meals. Her digestion was a mess because her nervous system was stuck in fight or flight from years of undereating and over-exercising. Her body was holding on for dear life. So we didn't add more supplements. We didn't tell her to eat more protein. We actually fed her more. We stabilized her blood sugar. We calmed her nervous system down. And within weeks, everything started shifting. Sleep improved, energy came back, weight started moving, and her mood leveled out. Same hormones, same body, different foundation. And that is what I mean when I say that the order matters. So let's use another analogy because I love an analogy. Hormones are like the traffic lights. So your blood sugar stability, stress, inflammation, underfueling, that's the traffic flow. If the roads are gridlocked, changing the lights doesn't fix congestion. You can put the lights on green all day long. You can synchronize them. You can add extra lanes. You can hire a traffic cop to stand there waving people through. If there's an accident further up the road, everything still backs up. This is why I hear so often that I'm eating well, I'm doing the lifestyle stuff, I'm supporting my hormones, but they're still exhausted, still holding on to weight in places that they never used to. The system underneath is congested and hormones are adapting to that reality. They're doing their job. They're just doing it in a traffic jam. Now, people are told, fix the root cause, which sounds great, very empowering, very take control of your health, until you realize that you've gone hunting for the root without checking if the ground is even stable. An example of that might be you discover that your thyroid is sluggish and you try to directly tackle that before you fix those foundations. Foundations first, always. And that looks like, are you actually eating enough? Not just well, but enough. Are you eating enough to support your actual energy output, your stress load, your life? Because most women that I work with are not. They're eating healthy, but they're underfueling. And that is a foundation issue. Is blood sugar stable across the day? Are you on a roller coaster that you don't even realize that you're riding? You know the signs, you're starving by 10 a.m., you crash at 3 p.m., you're ravenous in the evening, you wake up at 3 a.m. and can't get back to sleep. Those are signs that is your blood sugar talking. Are you digesting and absorbing what you eat? You can eat all the protein and the vegetables in the world, but if you're not breaking them down and absorbing those nutrients, it doesn't matter. Bloating, gas, irregular bowel movements, indigestion, undigested food in your stools. These are not just annoying symptoms, they're signs that digestion is compromised. Is your nervous system ever getting out of fight or flight mode? Or are you basically running on adrenaline? Because if you're in chronic stress, as in your body is physiologically stuck in survival mode, everything becomes harder. Sleep, digestion, blood sugar, hormone balance, all of it. Does your body feel safe enough to let go of the weight, of the tension, of the grip it's holding? This is the one that people don't talk about enough. Your body will not let go of weight if it doesn't feel safe. And on the surface, that sounds a bit woo-woo, I'll admit. But if your body is getting signals that the environment is unstable, under-eating, over-exercising, chronically stressed, lack of rest and recovery, your body is not going to willingly let go. It isn't going to burn your fat stores. So, your fat stores are like a safety net. It's like an emotional support blanket. So it's not your body being awkward. It's actually being super smart with its resources. If those foundations aren't solid, then hormonal support, even food-based and lifestyle-based support, well, it's like bailing out the water instead of fixing the leak. Sorry, that might have been one too many analogies. But the reality for most women who are stuck, and I say this with love, most women do not need more information. You've read the books, you've listened to the podcasts, including this one clearly. You've Googled until your eyes were stinging. You've been to the forums, you've asked your friends, you've tried all of the things. You do not need more information. You need better sequencing. When the foundations aren't there, everything goes a bit skew with. Protein increases can actually spike your stress because if your body is already in fight or flight mode, more protein without enough carbs or overall calories can actually use up vital nutrients and drive more demand. Fasting backfires. So intermittent fasting can be great for some people, but if your blood sugar is already unstable and if you're under eating, if your nervous system is fried, fasting is just another stressor. Exercise feels draining instead of energizing. You're doing the workouts, you're ticking the boxes, but you feel worse because your body doesn't have the capacity to recover. Even healthy routines become another demand that your body has to meet. So the body compensates. It holds on to weight, not because it's stubborn, but because it's smart. It's protecting you from what it perceives as a famine. It flattens your energy because you're not giving it enough fuel. It's going to ration what it's got, and that disrupts sleep. And that's because cortisol is high, blood sugar is unstable, and your body is trying to keep you alive. It is protecting you. And perimenopause, it doesn't change the rules of biology. It just lowers the margin for error, which means the order that you do things matters more than ever. And you can't skip steps anymore and get away with it like you maybe could have in your 20s. Your body's like, nope, we're doing this properly or we're not going to do it at all. Your body's been putting up with a lot and it's been compensating for years. It's been running on fumes and good intentions. And now it's saying, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right. So what does that actually look like? It means before you add more protein, you need to make sure that you're actually eating enough overall. Before you start fasting, you need to stabilize your blood sugar. Before you wrap up exercise, you need to make sure that you're well fueled and you're recovering. Before you add more supplements, you need to make sure that you're digesting and absorbing what you're already taking. Before you focus on hormone support, you make sure that the foundations are solid. And I know that's not sexy. It's not a quick fix. It's not a magic bullet, but it works. And I want you to take this with you. If it feels like your body is resisting, it is probably overwhelmed. If nothing seems to work, it's likely because you're asking your body to do something it doesn't have the capacity for yet. And that's not a willpower issue. That's not a you issue. It's a sequencing issue. And this is exactly what I'm unpacking in my upcoming free masterclass. So not another list of things to do, not another eat this, not that sort of guide, not another person telling you to just try harder or be more consistent or get your act together, but clarity around what actually comes first and why guessing and winging it and trying to piece things together from Instagram posts and podcast episodes can really keep you stuck for years. If you've been doing all the right things and you're wondering why your body isn't responding, this session is going to help you to see what you've been missing. So you can register using the link in the show notes or visit louisedigbynutrition.com and you'll see the details in the banner at the bottom of the page. And you can also comment the word fix on any of my Instagram or Facebook posts and I will DM you the link. And if you're listening to this far into the future, I run these sessions regularly, so do still take a look and there will be a session coming up very soon. I really hope that you found this episode helpful and it got you looking at how you've been doing things and perhaps looking at things in a slightly different way. Thank you so much for tuning in and I will see you in the next one.